This is the second class of memory interfacing. In my first class, I had forgotten to mention while I was discussing about this particular scheme of internal implementation of RAM, a 4 kilobyte of RAM in our example. I had forgotten to mention or include chip select signal in my circuit. I had almost given no notice about chip select signal. So chip select signal along with here each AND gate for each 8-bit latch. Each AND gate combines the one output of decoder with read bar or write bar signal, as we have already discussed. But here we have to combine the chip select signal also, and since chip select is a active low signal, therefore the connection should be like this. So that if chip select signal is at logic 1, then no matter what is the state of read bar signal, write bar signal, and what is the state of a particular output of the decoder depending on the address bits present on the address lines A0 to A11, output of all the AND gates present for each 8-bit latch will always be 0. So if chip select is at logic 1, output of all the AND gates will be 0. If chip select is at logic 0, then only the output of a AND gate will become 1 depending on what is the address present here, and so which output of the decoder is at logic 1 and whether read bar or write bar is at logic 0. So chip select therefore as a whole will make this entire circuit disabled. Only when chip select will be provided, the circuit will function. The second thing which I want to mention is, here while discussing about how information will be written or latched by a particular 8-bit latch present inside such a RAM, I said that when write bar signal will be provided, that means when it will go to logic 0, the output of the AND gate will go to logic 1, and output of the AND gate is acting as latch enable signal for the latch. And then when write bar will go to logic 1, that means when it will be removed by the CPU, output of the AND gate will go to logic 0, and at that point of time the latching will occur. So just at that point of time the 8-bit latch will latch the 8-bit data present at its inputs and will from that moment onwards continue to maintain it at its outputs. So that means when processor asserts the write bar signal, here when write bar goes to logic 0, the latch will become enabled. Which latch? That depends on the address present on the address lines. If the address present on the address line is of such value that this particular RAM and then say this particular latch of the RAM will be selected, then this particular latch. If the address is of some other value, then some other latch present inside some other memory location, then some other latch present inside some other RAM device will get selected. So when write bar signal is asserted by the processor, that means when write bar will go to logic 0, the latch will get its latch enable signal, and this is the time during which latch will remain transparent. When write bar will be removed by the processor or CPU, that means when write bar will go from logic 0 to logic 1, at this point of time the latching will occur. That means at this point of time the data will be stored or latched by the particular 8-bit latch or by the particular location. So that means just at this point of time the data bits should remain valid on the external data lines, and therefore at the data in pins of the particular RAM device. As you know, if I look at the timing diagram, then we have seen that the data bits will be maintained by the processor at this time or during this time. This should be the case because if the data bits are not there on the data pins of the RAM device and therefore on A input lines of the particular location or latch, then when write bar will be removed, the correct data will not get stored into the location. So just at this point of time, before this, the data bits should remain there on the external data lines of the system. Okay, we know that the data bits will be maintained by the CPU or processor during the entire 3 clock periods, during the entire 2 clock periods, starting from the 2nd clock period. Let me show you the timing diagram once more. You see here the timing diagram of a memory write cycle. During the 2nd clock period of the memory write cycle, the low order address bits will be removed from 80 to 87, and then the data bits will be placed on these lines, and from that moment onwards the data bits will remain or will be maintained by the processor on these 8 lines during till the end of 3rd clock period. Just after the 3rd clock period, when the memory write cycle will be finished, after that the data bits will be removed from these lines, and then lower 8-bit address of some other memory location or port will be placed on the 80 to 87 lines. That means lower 8-bit address of some other address will be placed on 80 to 87 lines, depending on what operation it will perform after this memory write cycle. So we also see that write bar will go to logic 0 during at this moment, which is almost the middle of T2 period, and it will make transition from 0 to 1 almost at the middle of T3 period. So the storing of data bits into the particular location will occur here, or latching will occur here, and just at this moment the data bits are well maintained on the external data lines. The next thing is, during a read cycle or during a read operation, what will happen? The read bar signal will be provided, and therefore output of one such AND gate will go to logic 0, and since output of one such AND gate will go to logic 0, all these tri-state buffers will get their enable signals, and therefore they will act as closed switches. And again, when read bar signal will be asserted by the processor, it will go to logic 0 almost at the middle of second clock period of the read cycle. So just from this moment onwards, the 8 output lines of the latch will get connected with data lines of the device, and therefore with external data lines, just from this moment onwards. From this, at this moment, practically the location will not be able, or the latch will not be able to output its data just at this moment. It means what? Depending on the implementation which we have used, just at this moment the data bits which is present on its B output lines will not appear on the data lines D0 to D7. It will take some time. Our implementation, for that the time will be the time delay the signal will take to propagate from the input of the buffer to output of the buffer. For some other implementation which are more practical implementation, the time will be for some other reason. But we can understand that when read bar will go to logic 0 from logic 1, the selected location will be enabled for reading purpose, and output lines of the latch which is there inside the RAM for that location will get connected with data lines, but the data bits will appear on the data lines after some time, say after this much amount of time. So this much amount of time, before this we cannot say that valid data is present on the data lines. Valid data means the actual data bits which is there on the output lines of the latch. Only after this we can say that valid data is present on the data lines or on the data pins of the device. And here the read bar signal will be removed. So before the read bar signal is being removed by the processor, sufficient time should be given to the selected memory location and therefore to the memory device, so that valid data appears from the selected location on its output, on its external data pins. If this time is not sufficient, if this time is less than the time needed by the memory device to output a valid data present in any of its internal location on the external data pins, then the read cycle will not work properly. Why? Because the processor then will not get correct data from data lines. Also, you note one very interesting thing. That is, say this is the processor. And this is, say, memory. This is, say, one internal register, register R. During the read operation, what happens? After placing the address on address lines, when read bar signal will be asserted by the processor, this particular location will output or place its contents on data lines. we can assume that other end of the read bar signal is connected to this internal register. This is read bar signal, and the read bar signal is acting as write, or the read bar signal is working for, or is, and the read bar signal is acting as write signal for this internal register, or it is causing write operation for this internal register. Read bar signal is acting as read signal for the external memory location, and it is acting as write signal for the internal register. In which manner? When read bar signal will be asserted by the processor, when it will go low, the particular memory location will output its contents on data lines. This is the data line, and through data line it will come to the input lines of the register. From external data line it will come on internal data line. If I just assume that external data line and internal data line during the read operation are just connected, then from external data line the data will come on internal data line, and internal data line, if I assume that the internal data line is connected with the input lines of the register, then they will appear on the input line of the register just like this, on input line of a internal register like this. And this read bar signal is acting as a write signal to this register. In other words, it is acting as a clock signal to this register, or as a strobe signal to this register. When read bar signal will be removed, when it will go from logic 0 to logic 1, that fact will cause the register to accept the data present on its input lines and store it inside it. So when read bar will go from logic 1 to logic 0, that will cause the external memory location to output its contents on data lines, and when it will make transition from logic 0 to logic 1, that will cause the internal register to accept data into it. That means the data will be stored inside it. How? Because one end of the data lines are connected to the output lines of the memory location, and other end of the data lines are connected to the input lines of the register. So whenever data will be placed on data lines, they will appear on the input lines of the register, and register will accept that data only when it will get its strobe signal, and the strobe signal is read bar signal, we can assume. So whenever the read bar signal will make a transition to logic 1, just at that moment the 8-bit data present on its input lines, the register will accept and store that data inside it. This is for read operation. So for read operation we have seen that read bar is acting as read signal on the memory side and as write signal into the inside the processor on the register side. The register can be accumulator or instruction register or something else. Now say the operation is a write operation. Now what will happen? In this case we cannot say that write bar signal is acting as a read signal toward the register side. Write bar signal is acting as a write signal toward the memory side, but it is not acting as a read signal toward the register side. We cannot say this, because if we say this, that will mean that data will appear on external data lines only after write bar will go from logic 1 to logic 0. But that is not the case that we see from one such memory cycle. Data will be placed by the CPU on data lines before this moment. But we can draw other interesting thing from this. During a write operation, output lines of the register will be connected on the common data lines. Just now we can forget about internal data lines and external data line. We can just assume that one set of 8 data lines is connected and is going from the register to the memory location. And if you want to think about internal data lines and external data lines, then also you can think that internal data lines right now are connected during a write operation with external data lines. Simply they are connected. So one end of the data lines is connected here to the memory location, other end to the register. During a write operation, see, the output lines of the register is connected with the data lines, and other end of the data lines are connected with the input lines of the memory location. That means on both sides there is a register or latch. Output lines of the register which is present inside the processor, they will be connected on the data lines, internal data lines, and internal data lines are connected with external data lines, and other end of the external data lines during the write operation will be connected with, or they always remain connected with the input lines of the memory location or of the latch. Then what will happen? The data bits of the register will appear here on internal data lines, therefore on the external data lines, therefore on the input lines of the memory location or the latch for that memory location. And then when write bar signal will be asserted by the CPU, that will act as latch enable signal, and that will cause that particular 8-bit latch or memory location to accept and store that data inside it. To further explain, when a specific address will be placed by the CPU on address lines, only one particular memory location present in one or another memory device present in the system will get selected or will be enabled, and that particular location will only respond. No other location present in other memory devices will not respond. To explain this further, I have shown this particular or this specific scheme where 3 memory devices has been interfaced with Intel 8085 processor. The first one is a 2 kilobyte of ROM, the second one is a 2 kilobyte of RAM device or RAM IC, and third one is a 4 kilobyte of RAM device or RAM IC. And according to the interfacing circuitry which we have shown here, the ROM will get address range from the ROM will get address range 0000 hex to 07FF hex. This RAM will get address range from 6800 hex to 6FFF hex, and this RAM will get the address range from 8000 hex to 8FFF hex. You can calculate these things and see whether you can find out that these will be the address ranges or not. I leave that to you. Now whenever a specific address will be placed on the address lines by the processor, say processor wants to read from a particular memory location. Say it wants to read from address 6A23 hex. Then when this address will be placed by the processor on address lines, 6A23 hex will be there on A0 to A15, and due to the specific value of this address, this NAND gate output will be 1. This and NAND gate output will also be 1. Only output of this NAND gate will be 0. Therefore, these two devices will not get their chip select signal. Only this device will get its chip select signal. And remaining bits of the address will be there on A0 to A10 lines, and that will select one specific memory location present inside this RAM, and so that particular location will respond to the read operation. See, address bits are also there present on the address lines of this ROM device and on the address lines of this RAM device. But memory locations of this ROM and RAM device will not respond because this particular ROM or this particular RAM, that means these devices are not getting their chip select signal, so they remain disabled. Only the location of this RAM device will respond. In other words, the 16-bit address being present on address lines, the lower address bits will be there on the address lines or address pins of all the memory devices present in the system. But higher address bits, depending on their specific value or combination, will provide chip select signal to only one memory device. And that particular memory device or the location present in that particular memory device will respond to the read or write operation. The next thing that I want to discuss is what happens if I leave, say for this RAM device, what happens if I leave one of the higher address lines which has been decoded to generate the chip select signal, if I leave it out of my circuit. That means, say if I do not use A13 address line, so this NAND gate then will decode only 3 address lines, A15, A14 and A12. This NAND gate will be in this case or in this place, a 3-input NAND gate will be used to decode the address lines 15, 14 and 12. Address line A13 is not used in the interfacing circuitry. What will happen then? Then address line A13 will be a don't care line. To find out the address ranges that will be allotted to this RAM device, in this case, first you have to write down, just like previous cases, all the address bits. A15, 14, 13, 12, A11 to A0. So you have to first write down all the address bits, including the bit for the address line which has not been used in our connection. That means including the don't care address bit also. This is the don't care bit. Now since this address line has not been used, it can stay either at logic 0 or at logic 1, but that will not do any difference to the chip select logic. Suppose if I assume that it is at logic 0, then 15 should be at 0 due to this decoding logic. 15 should be at 1, 14 0, and 12 should be 1. These three lines are being decoded, so they should be at these logic levels depending on the decoding logic. Now 13 has not been used. This A13 address line can either be at logic 0 or logic 1. If I assume that A13 address line is at logic 0, then I will get this bit combination for these 4 higher address lines. Then A11 to A0, if they are all 0, then the first location will be selected. If they are all 1, then the last location will be selected, and accordingly the first location, its address will be 9000 hex, and last location, its address will be 9FFFX. Okay. I have written here wrong. The address range is 9000 hex to 9FFX. Now A13 address line, so one address range is this one. Now A13 address line can well be at logic 1. Then also if A15, A14 and A12 are at these logic levels, chip select signal to this RAM device will be supplied. So 15, 14, 12. After that, if A13 address line is at logic 1, then also this RAM device will get its chip select signal. And in that case, what will be the address range? If A11 to A0 are all at logic 0, then location number 0 will be selected. And if they are all at logic 1, then the last location will be selected. So the address range now is 101100000000 to 1011111111. So the address range is 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, 11, AB. So B000 hex to BFFFX. So we have seen that if I do not use one single address line, that means if in my circuitry one address line is don't care line, then the memory device will get two address ranges assigned to it. In other words, each memory location present in this device will get two addresses. For this example, the first location will get two addresses. One address is 9000 hex. The other address is B000 hex. Similarly, the second location will also get two addresses. One is 9001 hex. The other one is B001 hex. Okay. When processor will read from an address 9000 hex, it will get the 8-bit data present inside the first location of this device. When processor will read from an address B000 hex, it will get the same 8-bit data present in the first location of this device. So even though the addresses are different, but they are referring to same physical memory location. So we have seen that leaving one address line out from our interfacing circuitry will give two address ranges, or will assign two address ranges to the memory device. Okay. Why two address ranges? Because A13 line has not been used in the circuit. So A13 line can be either at logic 0 or it can be at logic 1, and as long as 15, 14 and 12 are at the required logic levels, it does not matter whether A13 will be at logic 0 or is at logic 1, because in both cases chip select signal to this RAM device will get supplied. And even though A13 has not been used in our circuitry, but when processor will place an address on address lines, it will obviously place all the 16 bits of the address. So for that address, A13 will obviously be at some logic level, either at logic 0 or at logic 1. Therefore, we have to find out both possible address ranges for such a interfacing circuitry. Now, if I leave say 2 address lines out of this interfacing circuitry, that means if I have 2 don't care lines in my circuit, what will happen? Now A14 and A13 both are don't care lines, so they has not been used. So they can be either at 00 logic or 01 logic or 10 or 11. That will not make any difference as long as chip select logic or chip select signal is concerned. As long as 15 and 12 will be at their required logic levels needed by the decoding logic, 14 and 13, their specific logic levels will not make any role or will not perform any role. So again, now a 2-input NAND gate is being used. You should not think that this is the NAND gate. In this case, a 2-input NAND gate is being used, right, like this. And this is the chip select signal. And one input of the NAND gate is A14, other input of the NAND gate is A12. So we are decoding only 12 and 15 address lines. Out of the 4 higher address lines, after connecting the lower address lines to the address pins of the device A0 to A11, remaining higher address lines A12 to A15, 4 address lines are there. Out of them, we are decoding only 2 address lines to generate the chip select signal, and remaining 2 address lines we are not using them in our connection, therefore they are don't care lines. And in this example, 14 and 13 are don't care lines. So if 14 and 13, if I assume that they are at 00 logic level, then this will be the address range. If I make them 01, then this will be the address range. They can well be at 10 logic level. Then the address range, which you can easily find out, will be what? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 10, 11, 12, A, B, C, C000 hex to C, F, F, Fx. And if I put 1, 1 for these 2 don't care address lines or for these 2 don't care address bits, then the address range will be what? F000 hex to FFFFX. So in this case, the RAM device will get 4 address ranges assigned to it. In other words, each memory location present in this RAM device will have 4 addresses, and when processor will perform a read or write operation with any one of those 4 addresses, it is the same physical memory location with which it will interact. That means whose data it will receive or to which the data will be written to. Obviously the programmer have to keep that in his or her mind for a system which has don't care address lines and therefore multiple addresses of memory devices present in the system. So leaving one address line out will give two address ranges assigned to the memory device. Why two address ranges? Because one address line can take 2 to the power 1 or two different possible values, and you have to find out address ranges for all those two different possible values. One is 0, one is 1. Leaving two address lines out will give 2 to the power 2 or 4 different address ranges. Why? Because two address lines which are don't care lines can take 4 possible different values. Similarly, if I leave 3 address lines out, then the device will get 8 different address lines. 8 different address ranges, because the 3 don't care address lines can assume 2 to the power 3 or 8 different possible combination of values. Naturally, you can see the disadvantage. The disadvantage is if you use don't care lines in your interfacing circuitry, then the disadvantage is multiple address ranges will get assigned to a particular memory device. Then that means some of the addresses of the system will get wasted, because in this case, say you have left 13 address line out, the first case which I have discussed, the memory device or RAM device will get two address ranges, 9000 hex and B000 hex.